Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to another FIREDUP KC episode. This is the show that brings all the legends from KC and all around the world on the show. Hey, it's your host, Zeke Wanganga, and I have my co-host here with me.
Z, hey, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited for our guest. I'm ready to talk.
Yes. Today we have another legend from KC, an entrepreneur. This man, he is both intelligent, hilarious, energetic. He is the founder of the Kansas City fashion page, the one and only, the famous Kansas City fashion page. Please have him welcome the one and only Jordan Gallant. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it's been 2 years now since the last interview we had.
Yep.
Yeah. So for those who don't know who Jordan Gallant is, just kind of give him a bio about yourself and kind of how you got to, being this famous guy in KC.
Yeah. So my name's Jordan Gallant, but my friends call me JG. I'm the founder of Kansas City Fashion.
Yeah.
Basically, our show or our company is called Kansas City Fashion, and basically we're a fashion show production company where we host events, charity events, fashion shows, all sorts of networking events, and just really fun stuff to connect the city. We're all about supporting the KC fashion community, and just playing our part and trying to make a difference here in the community,
Yeah, and you are not originally from Kansas City, are you?
No.
Just like myself. You must have a bio about that.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Toronto, Canada.
Oh, wow, okay.
I moved here when I was 13 years old.
Nice.
I've been in KC ever since. And I love it here, but I've been able to kind of bring a little bit of the Toronto flair and adapt it here.
Okay, nice. So I really want to ask this because I know that everyone that comes to KC doesn't want to leave. Like if I don't know what it is with KC, but it's like if you come here, it's so welcoming. Like I'm good here.
Right.
Do you feel that way though? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I love it here. It's like in Kansas City, there's so much opportunity where it's like, you can go for things. It's big enough to be a big city with a lot of opportunity, but it's small enough where everything's not already taken. So
it's tangible.
If you want to do something here, you have the opportunity to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so how'd you get started? I mean, from the page and just kind of connecting people, being that source when it comes to fashion, lifestyle. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story because I never thought in a million years I'd be involved in the fashion industry. But I knew for the longest time I wanted to start my own Instagram page that wasn't a personal page, and I wanted it to be some sort of community-based page. I just didn't know what that was going to be. And I was searching up all these different handles, and I knew I needed like a sticky handle that was going to like catch. And that was going to be like a keyword or a buzzword. And one of the only ones I could find was Kansas City Fashion. And I thought, well, I'm not really in the fashion community, but I am on this board of directors of a autism charity called Fashion Honors Autism. And I'm like, maybe I'll start this page, and it can help us like promote the fashion charity event and stuff. And then like maybe I'll try something else after that. Not knowing in a million years that this page would explode like it has and become a full-blown business where we've started a LLC, and now we've hosted multiple fashion shows and we do all that stuff. So
that's
it's
awesome.
Sometimes you just take an opportunity that's presented with you and you just go for it. So
let me ask you this, because I know that your page promotes people in Kansas City, being able to kind of put spotlight in Kansas City. For you, has that been something that you've been about? Because I know when I met you, you kind of were connecting with Kansas City. Basically, you connect with a lot of people. Kind of like, how did that come about? Like, how did that idea of being able to kind of spotlight people in KC come about?
Yeah, I just always loved people. I've done a lot of networking events in the business I was before getting into fashion, and I always wanted a way to like connect people. And I thought I want to be fully inclusive and show all skin types, all heights, weights, everything, like every type of person I want to include, which is like bled over into the fashion side, where in the fashion industry in years past it's been this thing where you have to be super tall and super skinny and super good looking. Well, I don't subscribe to that belief. And here's the thing, like not everyone in the world is super tall and skinny and stuff, so why not be fully inclusive? So that's why our entire company is based around including everyone. And when you come to our fashion shows, we have plus size models, all skin colors, ethnicities, religions, backgrounds, heights, weights, everything. Because if you're someone in the audience and you're watching a fashion show, you want to be able to relate to that person on the runway. And so we want everyone to be able to relate regardless of who you are. So it's really been our biggest blessing, and it's actually been the easiest part. It's like all we have to do is include everybody.
So I really want to know this, because I think this is important, because I know a lot of people out there have huge ideas or huge things that they want to do, but what would you say to someone out there who says, hey, I see what Kansas City Fashion has been doing for the short time it's been on, because before you even started, I met you then. What would you tell someone out there who wants to do the same thing with you?
Yeah.
They're doing.
I love that question because people ask me that all the time, and I always love talking to people about this because I want people to do stuff that they're passionate about.
Yes.
And I think the biggest hurdle they have to get over is that fear of rejection and the fear of not succeeding. And here's the thing: there is no not succeeding; it's just giving up. So what I see people all the time in KC, they'll start, maybe it's an Instagram page similar to mine, or some sort of company or something. But I used to say it was a 90-day mark, that they won't last 90 days because they just they're not ready for that commitment. But nowadays it's 30 days, and I'll see people pop up and I'll follow them and try to help support their page and give a spotlight. And in 30 days they just fizzled out because they weren't ready for that kind of commitment. It's like if you're wanting to do something, you have to go to it and you have to commit. And what I say is no one ever gave me permission to host fashion shows or start this fashion show production company. No one asked for me to do this either, but that's okay because here I am and I'm doing it anyways. So the thing is, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness, right? So just go for it. Don't wait for someone to tell you it's your time to do it, because maybe there's some people out there that don't like what I'm doing, but you know what? There's a lot of people that do. So I'm just going to keep focusing on the people that do and support us. And it was hard in the beginning. I used to post 2 to 3 times a day for the first couple months just to have a bunch of posts on the page. Maybe not 2 to 3 a day, but probably about 2 a day for the first 60 days just to have enough posts on the page to make it look credible. So it would be 1 spotlight per day, plus I'd put a random picture of the KC skyline and just talk about how much I love KC or something, just to get some content out there. And in the beginning, some of our posts, your spotlight was probably one of the first 10 spotlights, and it might have gotten 20 likes. But nowadays we're averaging 350 likes per spotlight. And we had a girl that we just did last week on a spotlight, and her spotlight just exploded because she had this really sweet story of how she's involved with this charity and yada yada yada. She ended up getting over 150 new followers just from 1 spotlight that we did. And so it's back in the day, no one was paying any attention to these spotlights or our posts, but now they do. But that was 18 months of posting every single day. So I tell people all the time, if you're ready and you want to go for it, just do it and just be consistent and don't give up.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel to us here, sitting here, consistency doesn't seem like a problem, but I would see how that can be a challenge, because I feel for me personally, if I'm passionate about something, I'm gonna come out every day and do it. I don't care who's watching, who's not, because I believe in what I'm doing. And I think that's the same with you, with Z, because you're a fashion designer and you're here every day getting the grind. So I think it's important for you to put that out there, because I know there are people who are 30 days they're out of it, because it doesn't happen in 30 days. The people you see yourself, you've been doing it, 18 months is not what it took you to start that thing. You have been in the grind before you started it. So that's what people do not see, because they think, oh, it took 18 months to do that. Oh, that's easy. No, it's not. It takes a lot of time to be able to develop. So I think it's a great point that you put up there. Now, with you doing this page, what are some collaborations that happened along the way that you never really think would have come about?
Well, man, there's just been so many things that I never thought in a million years would have happened. And I find myself in scenarios all the time that I sometimes lay in bed and think, how did this day just happen that way? I've been blessed with the opportunity now to work with some really high profile clients here in KC. I don't want to say all their names and stuff just for confidentiality purposes, but some of the top guys in KC and gals that I've looked up to, whether they're pro athletes for the Chiefs or the Royals or Sporting KC, or even some local singers that have made a name for themselves, and all sorts of different types of people that I'm I never thought I'd be around these people, and now they're my peers and they've become my friends, and I've been able to invite them to our shows and be in these random situations. One that comes to mind is very early on in the page. We did a spotlight on this hip hop artist that we've always liked, and we never even we kind of just did it as a joke because the page was so small. But we really liked this hip hop artist, and so we gave him a spotlight, not thinking that this person would actually see it because they had a pretty big page. Well, not only did that artist like the post, but he commented on it and DM'd me thanking us for the spotlight, and we were kind of wow, I didn't think this person would see it. Well, fast forward a couple weeks later, we had a trip planned to Arizona, and right when we were about to leave for this trip to Arizona, that same hip hop artist had posted on his story saying, we're filming a music video in Arizona. Anyone looking to come through, send us a DM, yada, yada, yada. And since me and that person had already been DMing, I had access to them. So I shoot them a DM and I was like, hey, we're going to be in Scottsdale this weekend. Like, would love to come through if that's cool. He's like, absolutely. Let me put you in touch with our manager. Fast forward, me and my group of friends that were in Arizona for a bachelor party ended up getting to go to this music video on the top floor of a penthouse. And we got to see all the behind the scenes of like a hip hop music video and all the dancers that were there. And there was like a rooftop pool. And it was like one of those things where we were looking around like, how did we get in this scenario? But we were there and we were happy to do it. And it all started with a random spotlight that we never thought would actually been seen. So
that's lit. That's awesome. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what are some goals that as a company that you're trying to reach as far as, when it comes to exposing KC and, all the talents we have and fashion itself?
Yeah, so our biggest goal is I want to do a fashion show that's going to be our biggest fashion show yet. We've been blessed to be a part of multiple shows that one of them even had over 500 people. But our goal is to host our very own fashion show, which we've done different shows, like we did the Halloween fashion show. We've worked with these autism fashion shows, done different types of like one-off types of fashion show. But our ultimate goal, which we already have like pieces in place that we're going to do this, whether it's either going to be January or February of 2022, is we're going to have our own Kansas City fashion show where we're going to have, I don't know what the number is yet, it might be 15 or 20, 25, but we're going to give 25 people in Kansas City who's always had a dream of walking in a fashion show, and we're going to give them their first opportunity to walk in a fashion show. And what we're going to do is we're going to pair them each with a model mentor that's like an experienced model that's going to teach them how to walk, how to pose, how to do the turn and all that stuff. And then we're just going to go for it at the show, and we're going to give them an opportunity to walk. We're going to the experienced models are going to get an opportunity to walk too for helping and teaching, along with adding any celebrities or anything like that. We might sprinkle them in the show, and we might throw almost Andy Reid in there. I mean,
almost Andy Reid, yep. Now, I think my thing with your page and what you guys do is you give so much value to people and not really expect anything back. Talk to us about the importance of that and just the benefits of that has given to your page and your life as well.
Absolutely. So as you know, I mean, I've learned this from you, is like you read all sorts of books that are motivational and inspirational stuff. And I've always learned that like when it comes to value, if you just give, it's just gonna come back.
Double.
So that's my thought, is like I just give value as much as possible, and then when it's time for whether it's one of these shows or an event or something, half the time we don't even have to ask. We'll have people reach out and they want to give us value back, whether it's being a sponsor for the show or recommending us to this model or designer or whatever. But and that's the thing, like with our spotlights, like sometimes, like I think when we give a spotlight to someone that might have like a blue check mark or like thousands of followers and it's like their big influencer, we'll give them a spotlight and we appreciate it, they appreciate it, they'll repost it. We might get a few new followers or something. But what I've learned is like sometimes if we have someone that they only have a couple hundred followers, but we give them a spotlight and no one like saw that one coming, all their friends and family just explode with the engagement. And we'll get like more likes and comments on a post with someone less than 1,000 followers than sometimes for a famous person. So that's why we're like, we used to like think that like, oh, I want to give all these local influencer spotlights, but now we've shifted it to no, I just want someone that has a good story, that's making an impact or doing something that's positive, and we're going to shine a light on them, and by doing so it's going to shine a light back on us, and it's going to be a win-win,
But I want us to do a section before we go down towards the few questions we have. I want to just do a question, we're going to call it one answer. One answer, that's what we're going to go for. Okay, cool. So we're going to do one answer. As we just made up the name. But anyways, it's going to be fun because it's going to be cool. So Z is going to take us through all the questions.
Yes, so it's an either or type of situation. So the first question, basketball or football?
Oh, I got to go with football.
Okay.
Football, okay. That's a great answer. That's good right there. The Chiefs, you already know.
Chiefs, baby.
You already know.
All right. This is kind of a no-brainer, I feel like. Kansas City or St. Louis?
Oh, KC.
Of course.
I do love St. Louis, and shout out to all my people in St. Louis. I love you guys. So.
But KC for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Chiefs or Royals?
Oh.
tricky one right there. That's a tricky one.
I got to go with Chiefs just because of the relationships we've made over there and
For
kind of the
sure.
stuff we've done with them. I'm
Yeah.
hoping to do some more stuff with the Royals. So all my Royals guys out there, hit me up. I'm ready to do some work. But
Awesome. Okay, 80s or 90s fashion?
90s. You know, I'm a 90s baby, so
Gotcha.
you know, we got to do it. So.
You gotta go for 90s, yep.
All right, bikinis or thongs?
Oh, damn. Now you're going to get me in trouble.
I can get you in trouble.
I'm going to keep this one PG and
gotta
say
keep it PG.
bikinis.
Bikini, okay. All right, last one, Drake or Kanye?
I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Oh,
So you already
okay,
know.
okay,
I got to go
okay.
with Drake is the GOAT anyways. Like, I like
Oh yeah, he's
You
awesome.
already know. Great. Awesome. So
Great.
let's head back into the week. That's just like a refreshment. You gotta
I like
give us freed up. When you talk about no one asked you to do this, and but you're doing it. Now, tell us, have you any obstacles on the way? Have you encountered any competition that has been kind of like a shaky thing for you? And how were you able to manage that?
Yeah, I'd say like, I wouldn't say it's obstacles, but there have been a few people that have questioned our fashion expertise and stuff like that. And like, here's the thing, like we give our spotlights, even though they're a fashion spotlight, we've had many people, not many, because you know they might get their comment deleted if it's inappropriate. But we've had people like, this is the comment I've received a few times, and it's stopped the last couple months because of how big it's gotten. But there was a small time when we'd give like someone that's like an athlete or something, or they do something that's not related to fashion, and people will comment, "What does this have to do with fashion? This isn't even fashion related. Why is it on a fashion page?" Well, in my opinion, everyone has fashion because everyone wears clothes, everyone has their own style, and everyone should be included. I don't care if you wear a Bass Pro t-shirt and like a cowboy hat. That's your style.
Right.
Your style.
And you should be represented too. And, you know, and shout out to the Bass Pro t-shirts and cowboy hats. You know, I have a cowboy hat, so.
Speaking of that, Crocs came back. How did Crocs come back? That's what I can understand.
I don't know, man.
Back in the days, if you wore Crocs, you were like a, you know, like a dummy. But now it's like everyone is all the disciples are wearing it. You know.
Yeah.
Everything's fashion.
Right, you're right. And you know what? The Crocs thing, like I've yet to own a pair.
No, I'm not gonna buy it. I don't care who wears it. I am not gonna buy it.
Balenciaga has Crocs now, and I'm like, what is this? Like, they're just trolling people.
Adidas has Crocs. Everyone has Crocs. I'm like, what is
trending? You know, and especially when influencers have a huge, when it comes to the fashion industry, anything they can make. I mean, I think Nicki had posted a picture with Crocs on, and their sales went up huge from that, just from posting that. Yeah, so it's definitely brand image. You know, who you have influencers, who you have doing that. You know, marketing. It's all marketing when it comes down to it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because I know that with marketing you have to have your strategies. Because I know that you guys do also like giveaways and stuff like that as well. How do you guys incorporate all that into your fashion platform?
Yeah. So like for example, like as of this week, as we're filming it, we have a fashion show coming up this weekend, and later tomorrow we're gonna do a giveaway where it's like, here's 5 VIP tickets, where it's like 5 different people will win 2 VIP passes to the show, where it's like you guys get backstage access, you get to hang out in the VIP suite with like the celebrities and stuff, and we do that to, it's like, hey, we need a little help promoting the show, so we'll make a post, you have to share it in order to be entered into the giveaway, and so we're going to pick out of the people that share it. Now sometimes it's a lot of people, sometimes it's a little bit amount of people, but if you're going to do a giveaway, make it something that's worth people's while. Like people aren't going to share something on their story for a $5 gift card to like Panera or something. Like they like, it has to be like, in my opinion, if you're doing a giveaway, the value has to be $200 or up. Otherwise you're just wasting people's time. Because
that's a lot of money turning up.
or like it don't have to be 200, but like the value, right?
Okay.
So like
the value of it. Okay, cool.
So the 200 the VIP passes might be more than 200 to buy, but as like the producers of the show, it doesn't cost us any extra. It costs us a little bit because we're providing the drinks and the food and stuff, but what we get in marketing and engagement on social media makes up for it.
Sure.
And, you always want people to have a good time and have like an entertaining experience when they come to your event. Otherwise, they're never going to come, and the word of mouth.
Yeah.
And kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like with the competition thing, it's like, in my opinion, like we don't have any competition except for ourselves.
Hey, for real. Neither is just me.
Because like there's other fashion shows in town, and instead of being like having our audience like say like, oh, you can't go to any of their fashion shows, like you can only come to our fashion shows. No, I'd be playing myself if I did that. Like, because here's the thing, like I know that a lot of my followers go to KC Fashion Week or these other fashion shows, Christian Michael fashion show, all these other fashion shows. And my thought is like, I'm not a dummy. I know that they're going to go to these other shows. I want them to go to the other shows because our goal is to support the fashion community. That's why we support KC Fashion Week. We support Christian Michael and any other fashion show. We go to the other fashion shows. We post them on our story. We give them spotlights. We want to connect with all these people. I don't want beef with nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be friends with all these other people because KC's so small. Like, there's no point in trying to like beef with these other people. It's like, no, like there's room for everyone to grow.
Exactly.
There's enough money out there for all of us. Wow. I agree with that. You know your stuff for sure. I just want to know your background. Did you have a marketing background, or how did this come to be, with you coming up with the page and everything like that?
So I've always loved social media. I mean, like I'm older than both of you guys, so like you guys don't even know like what this is, but you guys ever heard of Xanga? Xanga was like was the OG. So it went Xanga, then it went MySpace. Did you guys have MySpace?
I knew of it. I didn't have a phone at that point in my life. I was in Nigeria, so that's a whole different. It's a whole different song of life.
But it's like we went from MySpace to Facebook and did the whole thing. I've always loved social media. I got a degree in marketing and business development from Missouri State University. But then I went into business and finance, and I became a financial advisor. And I love finance, and I love working for the financial firm I work for, which is called Prevail Innovative Wealth Strategies. And I love being able to help people and do all that stuff, but I found a lot of passion in the fashion side too. And the fashion side is kind of taking over a little bit, but I still always make sure that like I keep like my business and like the company I work for, like that has to be the main priority. And even though like Kansas City Fashion is I would call my side business, it feels like my main business because of how much time it takes. But it doesn't feel like work when you love what you're doing.
Because I like the fact that you mentioned that you actually have a financial that you do, because I think most people are scared like, oh, am I going to leave my job and start my dream? But sometimes it doesn't have to be that way. You can
use your job to finance your dreams.
Use your job to finance your dreams. Because that's pretty much what we're doing. We hustle, invest.
For sure.
Because you want to be the person who you want to invest in yourself. Because you can't keep going to work every single day. At some point, you want to sit home and have your money do the talking for you. But anyways, I think we've come to the end of the show. This has been a fun, definitely fun episode. Well, let me ask you this: how did you get in contact with Andy Reid, Almost Andy Reid? Because I think that's a really cool story.
Man, Almost Andy Reid. Hey, shout out to Matt Black out there. People don't even know his real name.
Matt Black.
We're gonna give him Zeke knows.
Yes.
I've been blessed enough. Like I said, I love social media, and I started a TikTok in the beginning of quarantine. And I had a couple videos that went viral that. For no reason they went viral. They weren't even that great.
Sorry, it was the one with the guy doing the thing.
Yeah. And so I gained a really big following, and then one of the followers I got was Almost Andy Reid. I went to his page, and he had a good following too. And I was like, okay, obviously he looks just like the head coach of Kansas City Chiefs. And he has a great social media presence too, and he's so entertaining. And I DM'd him right away. I was like, hey man, I love your page, love what you do. Like, would you ever be down to like collaborate on like a TikTok or something? This was like way back then. And so I met him up at Arrowhead Stadium, and we recorded a little skit where I was like pretending to be a news or a sports reporter, and like he was being Andy Reid, and the skit went really well. But we kept in touch, and we became friends. And then I started inviting him to all of our events, and ever since then he gets a VIP pass at anything we ever do, and he comes to most of them. And we've had fashion shows where he'll come to the event, and we have actual Chiefs players at the event.
That's so
and
funny.
More people will come up asking for a picture with Almost Andy Reid than they will the actual Chiefs players.
That's funny.
It's the funniest thing ever.
Matt Black, Almost Andy Reid, he is the coolest guy. He's just I don't know. He's just so humble and so welcoming that his presence makes you want to just hang with him. And I love it because I've had him on the show, and we're gonna have him on another show because he is very he's funny, and also he's very welcoming. So, but anyways, before we go to the end of the show, I want us to do this section where we call where should I go to in Kansas City to have fun, and secondly, who should I go to in Kansas City if I want to network?
Well, before we get to that, I want to give you a shout out and show you some love. I don't know if people do that enough, but my boy Zeke here, man, he's been working his butt off. And when we met, we met before I ever started Kansas City Fashion, probably over 2 years ago. And we just connected on Instagram, and we were like, hey, let's just go grab coffee and just like, you know, brainstorm a little bit. And man, I love your story. I love where you have humble beginnings and you've like made your way over here to the United States, and you just work your tail off, man. And I love what you do. You've always promoted positivity and energy. And from the moment we met, and you told me this story about when you were driving on the highway and how this wheel came off this car and it almost killed you, but you survived, and that was like the moment you knew like you have to like take advantage of life. And I've always loved you for that, man, and I always appreciate
Thank you for that. I got goosebumps now. Thank you for that. Thank you for that hype. I feel good about myself now. But anyway, so let's get to the question. So where should I go and have fun, and who should I meet if I want to get connected in KC?
Well, if you're wanting to go have fun, it kind of depends on like what you like to do. But you know, we go out, like me and my friends. I got Big John. Shout out Big John, my business partner with Kansas City Fashion. Shout out to Brad Lathan, my other business partner with Kansas City Fashion. Colin Gibson, a lot of my other best friends. But we go to this place called Society in the Crossroads. That's our favorite place to go get dinner and drinks. If you like to just go like have some fun, like Nelson Atkins Museum is cool. Like go chill on the yard and throw a frisbee around or something. Or you know, I love Andy's ice cream. So you know, anyone that wants to go on an ice cream date, hit me up. Like we'll go hit some Andy's. Like.
That's funny.
So who do I, if I want to get connected in KC, who should I know? Or where should I go?
Definitely come out to any Kansas City Fashion event.
Boom, that's the one right there. That's a setup.
Yes. Well, because that's what we do. It's like you come out, like that's what happens. Like people think they're just coming to one of our events, but what they don't know is that they're going to leave with 15 new friends. And it's like you didn't even ask to be a part of this friend group, but now you are. And it's like you're going to meet people of all, just like we're inclusive not only in our fashion shows, but just in our friend group. And it's so deep where it's like you're going to get all skin colors. It's so diverse. You name it. You never know who you're going to meet at our events, but you're going to become friends with at least 4 or 5 people.
That's good.
And especially with you being like an up-and-coming designer, like you should come to all of our events. You know,
I'll be there.
And like we're going to hook you up and take care of you. But,
for sure.
Man, I just love connecting people, man. Like here's the thing, like with our events, like even before I started the page, I used to just host parties because I was like, man, I just like love connecting people, and that's evolved into Kansas City Fashion. But we've had people that like not only met because of our events, but they're like dating right now, and they're like in long-term relationships, probably going to get married, like, and like you know, I better be getting an invite to get married too.
You're a matchmaker now.
Matchmaker, exactly.
But so I remember one story you told me. I don't know if you want to share about it. It's up to you. But the story about I think it was the Sporting KC player. I don't know if you want to share, that's okay. But if you don't want to share, that's your choice. But I think that story was very inspirational in terms to you giving value without expecting anything back.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the people that we love so much, his name is Daniel Shallowy. And he's like a star on Sporting Kansas City. But the cool thing is like we had followed him. Just I don't know how we had a mutual friend that shared him, and he followed us back. And the thing I always do like with our page is that like I'm like, hey, can I give you a spotlight? He's like, absolutely, you know. And it's like this was like before the Sporting KC season started, and so we gave him a spotlight. He reposted. We were super grateful about that. And then we had our show coming up. I was like, hey man, thanks again for that spotlight. Like we're having this fashion show. If you're down to come, like would love for you to come, you know, all this stuff. So we sent him some free VIP tickets, and he actually showed up to the event with some of his friends, and he was just such a down to earth, like humble guy, like him and his friend, shout out Moy and all the boys like that came through, like Kevin, and we became like all friends. And it was like before the season started. And then this season, he's had the most breakout season ever, where it's like, you know, he's like an MVP candidate for the MLS, like leading scorer in the whole league and stuff. And we've just loved to watch like his rise to stardom. But like, I think the coolest part for us is like, you know, we met him like before the season started. We just thought he was like a super cool, nice dude before the season started, and to see where he's come and to see how humble he is. as a person, like it inspires us
Right.
to go even harder, because we're like, man, if this guy's that good of a dude and he's at this level, like if we just keep working and grinding, like we can get to that level
Right.
someday too, you know?
For sure.
Wow.
That's-
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I just want to know, for the people watching, I'm sure they're interested and want to know how we can get connected with you, your page, what you're doing, seeing what you're doing, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we do have a website and Facebook and all that stuff, but we run our entire business out of our Instagram, which is Kansas City Fashion on Instagram, spelled out, not KC Fashion, Kansas City Fashion on Instagram. You may have seen it, you may have not. Sometimes it's like I live in this little bubble where it's like it's blown up so much I think everyone knows
Right.
about it. And then you go out to the public and you realize that KC is so big, but there's
yeah.
still a ton of people.
yeah.
So that's why I always want to keep that kind of humble edge of
Right.
like, I just want to treat like maybe most people don't know about it. So let me be humble
Keep
as
it
can
grounded.
be
Right.
and treat everybody with respect regardless of their status, because
Right.
you just never know who you're going to meet. But
Right.
Kansas City Fashion on Instagram, follow us and we'll follow you back. We always try to follow people back as much as possible. I mean, as long as you make sure you have a page where you like actually post stuff and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Don't follow me with some page where it's like you don't have a profile pic and no
Oh.
text. And it's like I
red
can't
flag.
follow that back. I can't follow
Red
that back.
flag.
There's no way.
But I don't care about the amount of followers and all that stuff. I'll follow you back as long as I can tell you're like a real person in Kansas City. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Again, thank you, Jonathan, for coming on the show. It's
Yes.
been an awesome episode. But before we go, talk to us about the event happening. For everyone watching at home, thank you guys for tuning in today. It's another FIREDUP KC episode. As you know, I'm your host, Zeke Wangang. You can follow me on all platforms. I have my co-host, Z.
Z, hey, guys, bye, thanks.